Nüüd on mul hea meel päeva esimese poole esimeseks ettekandeks anda sõna Joakim Heleniusele, Trigon Capital Grupi asutaja ja nõukogu esimees, Estonian nõukogu esimees. Trigon Capital on Kesk- ja Ida-Euroopa juhtiv investeerimisteenuste pakkuja. Joakim Helenius, olles ise investeerinud mitmetesse nii Eesti kui ümbritsevate riikide ettevõtetesse, jagab oma mõtteid, et kus võiks Eesti ettevõtete jaoks olla veel kasutamata võimalusi. Joakim, floor is yours.
Thank you. Great. Well, good morning. To discuss or to talk about a comment as wide as this is always difficult. Clearly, business, export business, production-related businesses are a very diverse group of businesses, and it's impossible in a speech like this to cover all parts of it. But what I'd like to do is concentrate on a few basic themes. What is changing the world around us? Where are the strengths here in Estonia on which companies can build for the future? What my own recommendations would be in terms of how to apply these strengths to your future plans. I'll give a couple of examples of what companies related to my interests are doing here in Estonia, and I'll finish off with a few thoughts on and recommendations. A lot of what I'll say is stuff that you've heard before, but maybe in this speech you'll find one or two good ideas that you might think about. So let's start off with the usual thing. This is stuff that you've heard before, but what are the global megatrends that govern the world that we live in and the world in which we're developing our businesses? These trends are important to keep in mind, to always keep in mind, because if you fight these trends, you're probably going to lose. We all read about food challenges. It's not only the fact that the population in the world is growing, it's the fact that incomes are rising, people demand better food in countries like China, India, and emerging markets. And the world's ability to meet these demands is challenged. In food as well, in more developed markets, demand is shifting, is becoming more segmented. The days when everybody ate the same sort of food are gone. This is interesting because this opens opportunities. Climate change, energy challenges, it's all interlinked with food as well, because of course climate change affects food production, but it most definitely has led to a situation where we as a human race will not be able to continue to use energy the way we have in the past. We will have to shift to a low carbon economy as quickly as possible. This clearly opens up opportunities. Not all of these opportunities that have been grabbed by entrepreneurs here in Estonia are opportunities that I personally would believe in. But it certainly opens up opportunities. Scientific progress, something that we don't think about all the time, but I read somewhere an amazing statistic that the body of scientific knowledge in the world is doubling every 5 years. Every 5 years, the scientific knowledge that exists in the world is doubling. So we today have 2 times as much scientific knowledge in our hands, as it were, as a human race, than we did 5 years ago. And 5 years from now, it will again double. So it's exponential, this growth. There's a lot of talk of how you should be looking to apply scientific knowledge in business. Well, the one fact that we can be sure of is that there is so much new scientific knowledge appearing all the time that the application of this knowledge is there for anyone to do if they can only figure out how. And globalization. When I was young, I still lived in a world where, which was basically a closed economy. You could be a company producing something in whatever, in a country in Europe or somewhere else, and you didn't have to worry very much about competition from companies abroad. This, of course, has changed, and anything that a company here in Estonia starts to do, and I'm talking now especially about the open sector of the economy, the companies that have to compete with imports or are looking to export their goods, you have to analyze clearly what is happening in the same sector with the same products in other parts of the world, because if you don't have a product that is cost competitive, you will not make money out of it, at least in the medium to long run. So what do these trends mean for Estonia? First and foremost, what are the competitive advantages of Estonia? Well, we keep on hearing the same stories about the transparent and simple regulatory environment, true. Stable, business-friendly government, true. Flexible and open economy, true. The credibility of Estonia as an economy has been increasing in spite of all the problems in the Eurozone. The fact that Estonia became a member of the Eurozone clearly added to the credibility of Estonia. It's one of the few, if not only, countries in the world to see increasing or rising credit ratings. When even the US is having its credit ratings lowered, the fact that Estonia's is rising is pretty amazing and clearly adds to the credibility. There's an abundance of high-quality forests and agricultural land. This is at the moment, I believe, and I'll talk about it, not taken advantage of here in Estonia. We all know that there's a cutting-edge IT sector. Whether or not we are properly taking advantage of it, I'll be discussing. We have an excellent primary and secondary educational system, but as Minister Parts was just stating, the university sector is weak. In my experience, in many sectors, very weak. We have good English language skills. Without good English language skills in the world that we live in, you don't get very far. We have a relatively clean environment. This might not sound like a good competitive advantage to people, but I can tell you, if you visit China, as Johan Parts is just doing, and you see what a dirty environment looks like, you will come to realize how, in the medium to long term, maintaining a clean environment can become a huge competitive advantage. A way of attracting highly skilled professionals here, a way of attracting investments here, a way of selling the country from a touristic point of view. And very importantly, although again this is not something that people talk about a lot, but Estonia and the sort of northern countries on a similar latitude to Estonia are likely to be some of the only beneficiaries of global warming. Whilst large tracts of the world, in fact the areas of the world where most of the population live, are likely to suffer, in some cases maybe very significantly, from global warming. In Estonia, actually, global warming is likely to lead to increases in the productivity in the agricultural sector and generally improve the environments, the climate. So let's keep that in mind. To get down to the basics, where and how do I believe that Estonian production-based businesses could improve their growth prospects? First and foremost, you have to ride the global megatrends. And I stress here that people sitting in this room probably represent a very wide range of different business sectors. Whatever your sector is, though, you will be affected in some way by the global megatrends that I was outlining. You should take time to make sure that what you're doing and how you're developing your company is in line with these trends. In other words, view the trend as your friend, as the Americans like to say. If you go and you do something that simply goes against what's happening in the world, it's like swimming against the current. I mean, you're going to find it very, very hard to move forwards. Whereas if you go with the trend, it's like swimming with the current. You'll be moving forwards pretty fast. Clearly, if you're in a business that is not competitive, is sort of doesn't comply with the trend. I mean, we don't have to think very far back into the past to remember that Estonia had a fairly large textile industry. The trend killed this textile industry. I mean, globalization killed it. There's no way you can basically produce textiles unless you're a very, very, very narrowly defined niche producer in Estonia today, because you're simply not going to be cost competitive. So when you look at your own business, think about whether or not and how cost competitive you can be on an international level, and whether and how you fit in with the other trends, and if you can adjust your business model to comply better with the trends, to sort of go with the flow, then do so. Link up, what might be called more traditional manufacturing and production with the IT sector. I find that there's a lot of talk in Estonia about the IT sector, as if the IT sector in itself is going to be the a big growth engine, and maybe it will be, but that's not really where I see the potential of the Estonian IT know-how. If you simply have small service-based companies in the IT sector in Estonia, they can do okay. There's a lot of know-how here, but they're never going to grow very big because the number of IT professionals, IT specialists here is very, very small. The only way you can take IT know-how and really grow big with it, if you convert it into products. If you apply software IT know-how to a product and you create a product that can be exported, can be sold in large quantities, where the number of IT specialists behind that product is no longer a limiting factor, that's how you can grow big. So if we take Estonia, what clearly should be happening much more than is the case at the moment is that more traditional companies should be linking up with the IT sector to see how the cutting-edge IT expertise here in Estonia could be applied to their own products, so as to differentiate these products, so as to make the products stand out more in the international global competition, so as to increase the value added in those products. In other words, so as to allow these products to be sold for a higher price, thereby of course, creating more profits for the company in question. But, above all else, the important thing is the differentiation, because if you can't sell something, it doesn't matter what sort of value added you've priced into your selling price. Invest into international sales. This is the single weakest point in Estonian business. Estonians are not natural salespeople. It doesn't come naturally to Estonians. When I first started spending time here in Estonia, one of the biggest surprises that I had was that when you had people over for dinner, in the big world out there, standard practices, I mean, this is done everywhere that I've ever been to, is that you split up couples and you spread them out so that they can meet other people, they can talk, and sort of expand their range of contacts by maybe sitting next to people they haven't met before. So you try to arrange a dinner party so as to make introductions. In Estonia, I found to my great surprise that couples want to sit together next to one another. And if you try to split them up, they get very upset because they feel comfortable sitting next to their partner and not having to sit next to somebody they don't know. This attitude is not going to change overnight, that's for sure. But somehow we have to find a way to improve our ability to reach out to the global markets. In my opinion, companies in Estonia that are likely to be successful and are likely to take advantage of the opportunities that change internationally is bringing are likely to be companies managed by people who have at least some experience of international sales. Again, my strong recommendation is within the companies that you represent is put your best people into sales, or go into sales yourself if you're running the company. Don't be afraid to be out there selling. You're not too important to be selling. Selling is what everything is based on. The reason the American economy was so dominant for so long was because they're the best salespeople in the world. The CEO of an American company defines himself as usually as the number one salesperson of that company. Sales is in their blood, and without good sales, you're never going to get very far as a business. I'd like to just take a couple of minutes to talk about a couple of examples, two examples of companies I'm involved with and what we're doing. These are companies based here in Estonia, well, not entirely, but to a significant extent. First and foremost, in food production. It's not generally known, but Estonia has maybe the lowest production costs per kilo of fresh milk in the EU, probably in Europe. This is largely thanks to the fact that the average size of the dairy units in Estonia is much, much larger than anywhere else in Europe. So, and a lot of them are modern units. So the efficiency of production is very high. The amount of inputs in terms of feed and medicines and so forth that you need to put into producing milk, a kilo of milk is pretty much amongst the, if not the lowest in Europe, certainly amongst the very lowest in Europe. So it's a sector. I mean, milk is a huge sector, business sector, and until quite recently, nobody in Estonia took it as took farming or milk production or whatever as a particularly serious area from which the Estonian economy could derive growth. I think that with the impending abolishing of the EU country quota on milk production, at the moment each country in the EU is allocated an amount of milk it's allowed to produce, and it's not allowed to produce more milk. But when this is abolished, which is going to happen very soon, it of course means that the more efficient producers will be able to invest into new production capacity and export the milk or the milk products into countries with less efficient production facilities and less efficient production. So I see a huge opportunity here, although the volatility will remain high and in terms of price. We in Trigon dairy farming are applying the very latest technologies. Every time a cow is milked, and it's milked 3 times a day, the temperature is taken and everything else, so that if somebody's temperature is a little bit above what it should be, it's taken out of the herd, and blood tests are taken and so forth, and the computer can follow the movement patterns of the cows, so that if a cow appears to move differently from the rest of the herd, it's immediately taken out and blood tests are taken and so forth. So we're using the latest in computer technology. We also work very, very closely with the Tartu University of Agriculture, of Life Sciences, to ensure that we are at the cutting edge in what we do. And with the help of these Tartu professors and our investments into computer technologies, we've had the fastest, by far, increase in the productivity of our own milk production in Estonia. So the farms that we run have seen over the last 3 years by far the fastest increase in productivity. There are other areas that we can develop in farming. Energy crops. Why invest money? Why invest subsidies? Why put subsidies into wind energy? There's nothing that really stays in Estonia. The machines come from Denmark or China or somewhere. The country has to build backup energy because when it's very cold, the wind doesn't blow, but the energy, that's when energy has to be, the demand is at its highest, so gas or other powered plants have to be built to support the wind power. It just doesn't make sense. Why not look at becoming a leading country in bioenergy? Estonia is ideally placed for that, given its agricultural and forest reserves. Organic food, other specialty foods, and so forth. There's a lot of potential. Wood. Not only is climate change, does climate change mean that the forest here is growing much faster. There was a recent study in Finland over sort of a long period of time that showed that the speed at which forests grow has increased by 30% in Finland over the last, 20 or 30 years. Climate change, with the increased amounts of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere, with warmer average temperatures, is speeding up the growth of forest. Estonia still doesn't harvest anywhere near the total annual increase in growth in the forests, and yet it's something that makes up around half of the total territory of Estonia. Importantly, wood products tie up carbon dioxide. So if you're sitting on a wooden floor, the fact that this wood has been converted into a floor means that it's going to be there for decades probably, and the carbon dioxide in that wood is trapped. Now, we read about wooden houses being the fastest growing export item in Estonia. A lot of building materials could be wood when in fact today they are very often plastic based or concrete or whatever. Why on earth are we doing this? Can you imagine the crazy situation we have at the moment in the world where the Estonian government and other European and Western, global governments are subsidizing the burning of wood chips. So if you set up a plant that burns wood chips, you're being subsidized for that, because the argument is that it's better than burning oil or gas, because this wood has basically extracted carbon dioxide from the atmosphere and the carbon dioxide is going back. Well, if we are subsidizing that, why are we not subsidizing those people who are substituting wood for other environmentally much less friendly materials in the construction of buildings? It makes much more sense. If you use wood to build a building, you're not burning it, you're trapping it for 20, 30, 40, 50 years. So again, it seems to me logical that it's only a question of time before governments will catch on to the fact that this is a good way of promoting environmentalism and lowering or trying to lower the carbon dioxide releases. And it's a sector that, in Estonia should be very competitive in. So, it's clearly a sector that goes with a lot of the global mega trends. I think here we come to some final thoughts. I've said this, but I'll say it again, just to make clear that I really believe in this. The IT sector should not be seen as a standalone sector. As a standalone sector, the IT sector is never going to be a very, very large part of the Estonian economy. It can be an important part of the Estonian economy, and it is an important part, and it's a growing part of the Estonian economy, but it's never on its own going to help Estonia catch up fast with the rest of the developed world. But if we link the IT sector and the know-how in the IT sector into the rest of the economy, into the other sectors where we produce products for export, if we can find ways of differentiating these products that we export by applying IT software solutions to these products that make them somehow better, more competitive, lower the cost of their production, whatever it may be, if we become an economy that basically integrates the IT sector into the real manufacturing sector in this country, this could give us a significant advantage. This could give the businesses operating here, the export businesses operating here, a real competitive advantage. Specialization and differentiation, these are key, and integrating the IT sector into what we're doing in the other sectors will help us specialize, will help us differentiate. But creating the product is not enough. We can have great IT engineers and regular engineers coming up with great products, but unless we sell these products, unless we learn how to get these products out into the market, we're not going to take full advantage of them. So we need to invest into sales and marketing and the people who do it. University level education, as I said, is weak. It makes it more difficult for us to find the people who have the prerequisites to become good salespeople. It makes it more difficult for us to find people for most of our sectors. It's the quality that matters. We need to lobby the government to look at quality. It's not the number of people who graduate from universities that count. It's the quality of the people who graduate from our universities that counts. Unless Estonia maintains a sort of a pillar system, unless Estonia allows the schools to attract the best pupils. Estonia has very good so-called elite schools. It's not popular with everyone, but basically the Estonian elite schools produce world-class graduates. The problem increasingly is that they don't have universities here in Estonia to go to that would match the education they've received at school. So more and more of them are going abroad to study, and many of them don't come back. These are the best people. So unless we do something about the quality of our university education, even if it means lowering the number of students that are accepted into universities in order to be able to give them a more focused education, we will suffer. We will suffer because we will lose the best people. They will not stay in Estonia to study. The other thing, of course, is, as Johan Part was saying, we have to find ways as businesses not only to work with the IT sector, but to work with the universities, as, for example, my agribusiness is doing with the Tartu University of Life Sciences, in order to utilize the know-how base that exists in the universities to further our own business sort of interest, to create know-how that can be used in business. I think I've exhausted the points I wanted to make, so thank you very much. I'm happy to take questions if there are any questions.
Thank you, Joakim, for your ideas, thoughts and recommendations. Kas on küsimusi?
Aitäh, Ülo Siinmäed. Ma tean, et sa räägid eesti keelt väga hästi ka, et sa saad eesti keelest aru, et teised saaks ka paremini aru. Mis sa siis arvad, et Eestis missugune võiks olla siis väljalüpse lehma kohta, et see näitab meie põllumajanduse tasand ära, et palju sa oled praegu lehma käest mitu tonni piima aastas saad praegu, ja miks teised ei jõua siis järgi, et on neil siis seda sinu kogemust raske üle võtta või? Aitäh.
I think the profitability of the agricultural sector is a challenge, is a problem. The milk price has been very volatile. A lot of dairy farmers who were losing a lot of money only a few years ago have again been making money the last couple of years. But now it might well be that milk prices come down again and they'll start losing money. I think I'm in it for two reasons. One is because I really believe in the long-term trend. I see that this is a business which, if not today, then tomorrow will be a business that a lot of money can be made out of. I also think that you know, we have built a team that can work with the Tartu University of Life Sciences, that can work with software companies to produce solutions that make us more productive, make us more cost efficient than most farms in Estonia. So we can make money even when others are losing money. I think this ability is not limited to us, and I very much hope and believe that over time more and more of the Estonian dairy farming sector will be operating the way we are at the moment. So I do see a really, really bright future, but I think there's going to be a lot of volatility in the profitability of the sector in the meantime, and I therefore hope that those people who are either in the business or are considering entering the business will have the perseverance to take a long-term view. But in the long run, I'm a great believer in this, and I think any business person should be taking decisions based on the long-term vision of where they see the sector going.
Kas on veel küsimusi? Palun.
Can we hope for doubling the number of destinations in the next 5 years?
Depending on how you count destinations, I think we are now in discussions with our shareholders. I mean, this is Estonian Näen now, on the strategy that we have put forward, and hopefully this will we'll get these discussions completed in the next few weeks. But yes, I think even next year, if you include connections, i.e. the fact that we will plan our schedule so as to offer people traveling from Estonia more easy connections onwards from where they fly, then we are looking not only to double but to quadruple the number of indirect connections that can be offered to Estonian travelers. So hopefully people will like the strategy when it's once we have it finalized and approved by our shareholders.
Eesti Maaülikoolist Tõnu Mõistus. Mis valemiga saaks kõrghariduse kvaliteedi tõsta ja kuidas teadlaste ja ettevõtete vahel paremat silda ehitada?
I think that it's incumbent on businesses to work more closely with universities, and probably we should be looking at adopting some sort of internship programs where maybe university courses could include some sort of more focused interaction with companies. So, you know, I think I could say from my point of view that maybe, you know, my companies could take students, maybe even the same students, and sort of allow him or her to work for periods of time in our companies whilst they're studying, so that they could relate what they're learning at university better to what they'll end up doing one day, hopefully. The quality of education, or the lack of quality that I see in the Estonian educational or higher educational system, universities, has a lot to do with the fact that when people graduate and come looking for a job, and they've studied a particular subject, and they're interviewed by my colleagues or even by myself, I'm surprised at how little they actually understand about, you know, how the subject that they've been studying is applied to the everyday life in a working environment. It means that in many cases we've had to train up university graduates from Estonian universities when they've joined us have almost had to be schooled all over again by us. So instead of having a graduate who basically understands his subject and can be very quickly put to good use where he's actually adding value to the business, we've had to become almost a sort of an add-on to the university education, and we've had to spend 6 to 12 months training up this individual before he or she has been able to actually to fulfill the demands that the job that we have put them in would normally require. So one of the main sort of criteria, or one of the main reasons why I feel that the university education here in Estonia is weak, the quality is low, is because the university graduates are not trained to fill the sort of jobs that they're expected to fill by the companies that they end up joining. A lot of the people I hire into the investment business, Trigon Capital, need to, for example, have a very good ability to work with spreadsheets, to understand simple mathematical calculations like internal rate of return calculations and so forth. When I hire them from, there's a very good business school in Riga called the Stockholm School of Economics. It's a joint venture with the Swedish Stockholm School of Economics, and there are people from all over the Baltics studying at this business school. When I hire people from there, they are very well prepared. I'm very impressed with the qualities that they bring to the table, their ability to perform the sort of tasks that we set them. When we try to hire people from Estonian universities, Estonian business schools, the quality is just not even, it doesn't even come close. They are so far behind the quality that the SSC Riga students, and we hire Estonians from SSC Riga by and large, but these Estonian graduates are simply so much worse in their ability to apply the sort of things they should have learned at university that it's very, very depressing indeed.
Aitäh. Ma nägin ühte kätt veel, ühe küsimuse saame võtta.
Thank you. A little bit different angle question. Have you ever considered livestock trade from Estonia as an export article?
I haven't, but of course we do it on a pretty significant basis because at the moment we are building up our herds in Russia, dairy herds. So we are actually, I guess we are the biggest importer of Estonian Holstein cows in the world because we are the herds we're building up in Russia are all coming from Estonia, and I think we are buying up almost everything that can be bought up here in Estonia in terms of livestock.
Aitäh veel kord Joakim Heleniusele otsekohaste ja inspireerivate mõtete eest. Aitäh!